when we talk about Alabama, what they were able to do in 2019, it wasn't it wasn't there as far as just the expectations that the fans and the media gave Alabama as far as bouncing back after a 44-16 loss, a 28 just absolute massacre. Um, a lot of people thought that Alabama would bounce back in 2019 and win the national championship. You had a healthy Tua Tagovailoa. You had all your receivers back. You had the majority of the offensive line back. Defensively, you guys were weakened, but everyone thought that Alabama would get better defensively just because of just the motivation and how Nick Saban and just hiring this coaching staff, which a lot of people love this coaching staff that Nick Saban brought in after once again losing almost the entire coaching staff again. So people just thought that this was Alabama's revenge tour. They were going to blow out everybody. They were going to get their revenge on Clemson in the national championship game, and we were just going to go from there. But that didn't happen. And it all started during the offseason. Once again, injuries continue to hurt Alabama. You lose Dylan Moses. That was the first blow. And then you lose Josh McMillan. You lose two of your starting inside linebackers, and you're forced to play two freshman inside linebackers for the entire season. Then, when the season actually started, the defense wasn't as good as what a lot of people expected it to be, especially in the secondary. It wasn't the fact that the front seven and because people already knew, okay, maybe it's going to take some time for this front seven to gel. You just lost two of your best inside linebackers. You're playing two freshman inside linebackers. One of them never played the linebacking position in high school. He was a cornerback. And then your defensive line is entirely new for the most part. The secondary was not the secondary. Literally everybody was back in the secondary except for Deontay Thompson and Savion Smith. But Savion Smith was a backup to Trayvon Diggs, who was arguably Alabama's best corner. And then you pair him up with Patrick Surtain, who was a freshman All-American. Xavier McKinney, Shaheem Carter. These are guys that had strong 2018 seasons. But then they didn't play to where we expected them to play. Maybe Xavier McKinney. Xavier McKinney was probably the only one that literally played to, I think, what a lot of people expect him to play, and that was just being an absolute beast, right? But the secondary didn't play the way that we thought it would. You saw a lot of miscommunication. There was a lot of turmoil on the defensive side of the ball. The players couldn't get the play calls out. It was a bunch of substitution infraction penalties, which, trust me, I made a lot of rant videos on that this season. And you just saw that this defense wasn't ready. Now, people blamed, including myself, blamed Pete Golding. And for the majority of the Alabama fan base blamed Pete Golding and wanted him fired. I'm not quite there yet on Pete Golding because again, I'm not. I want to give him. He's young. I want to give him another chance. We did the same thing with Tosh Lapoy after the national championship game, and then he was left. We just can't keep starting over at the defensive coordinator position. But people blamed Pete Golding, and then there was a lot of people that blamed the players, including myself. It was not good. Matter of fact, I think this is actually one of the worst defenses that, if not the worst defense he might have had, maybe since 2007. So, yeah, they didn't play to the standard where we thought they would. But then you lose LeBron Ray. And I think that was the blow. Losing him in that South Carolina game after he started off the season pretty hot. I think he had like a sack and a half. He had like 3 tackles for loss. He looked like he was going to be that next Quentin. Not to saying he was going to play on the level of Quentin Williams, but he looked like he was going to be that guy that was going to take over. Because Raekwon Davis, he wasn't bad, but he wasn't the Raekwon Davis of what we saw in the playoffs or what we saw even during the sophomore season. You lose that guy, and then you have to play Justin Agbogbie, and you have to rotate with him, and then Byron Young, and then DJ Dale. He's a true freshman at nose tackle. They just had to rotate. It was too many freshmen, too many young guys that barely had any experience. Christian Barmore was a plus. A lot of people wanted him to play. He was a plus. He was probably the only, arguably, he might have been the second best defensive lineman maybe on that team, if not the best 3-technique player for Alabama. Even probably outplayed Raekwon Davis. But it just wasn't there to where we expected him to be. I think losing LeBron Ray, your best defensive lineman, that was the blow. And this defense just wasn't the same. It just wasn't. But then moving on from the defense, you look at the offense, and it started off great. The offense is amazing. Tua's great. Offensive line took a little while for them to gel, but which they did. They gelled. Receivers are playing great. The running game again took a little long for them took a little while for them to gel, but eventually Najee Harris became the guy that we all thought he would be. Brian Robinson, not so much, but Najee was the guy that we thought he would be. And then Tua gets injured during that Mississippi State game. He gets hurt. Well, first he gets hurt against Tennessee. He hurts his ankle, and then we're like, damn, here we go again. Another season where Tua is not 100% healthy. And then the Mississippi State game. And then it was after being up 31 to nothing. I think 31 to nothing, I believe, or it was 31-3. They were up by a lot. He hurts his hip. First he rolls outside. Alex Leatherwood gets beat. He rolls out, and he hurts his hip. Potentially a career-ending type of injury. And he hurts his hip, and he's out for the season. It was a tough period for Bama fans because we didn't know if he would play again. We thought his career would be over, and it would be such a tough blow because he's such a good kid. We love his family. But him being out for the rest of the year was a tough blow and a potential season ending, not just for his career, but for Alabama as well. The season probably was going to be over. We had faith, though, that Mac Jones could be that guy. It was split, but for the most part, the majority of us had faith in Mac Jones. The offense looked fine without Tua. It wasn't as explosive, but the offense looked fine. Then you fast forward to the Auburn game, and of course, our worst nightmare came true. Not only did we lose to our rival in stanky Auburn, but we lost in just such an unlucky fashion. Mac Jones threw two pick sixes. Of course, every time we play Auburn and Jordan Hare, some fluky stuff has to happen every time. The first pick six, not a fluke, but then the second one, oh man, just bounces off Najee's back. The dude takes it all the way to the house, and it was a nightmare. Now, Mac Jones didn't play bad. Mac Jones played really well, and it actually sold me on Mac Jones that, okay, hey, maybe he'll be the quarterback for the future. But that's when the season was over. It was a lot of mistakes. We didn't play great. Defense got exposed again, and we lost once again in Jordan Hare. There goes the division. And I even talk about that loss to LSU because we lost to LSU. And they went on to win the national championship. But our season went down the drain after that Auburn loss. That's why I'm talking about that game first, or the Mississippi State, because there were just a bunch of the season was over a long time ago. We just didn't realize it. But this was a season where the team was just young. And not to the fact that you're saying, okay, it's young there, but they were really young. It was like watching babies play. These are very, very talented players. 4 5-star type of caliber guys. But you look at and not just the players, the coaching staff. This is an entirely brand new coaching staff again that Nick Saban has to deal with. Then you have to deal with the players, and then what you have to deal with. Alabama had to play 12 true freshmen. Not just through play 2-3 games and they're redshirting. I'm talking about the entire season. Jordan Battle had to start. Byron Young, Justin Agbobe, DJ Dell, Evan Neal. I mean, just DeMarco Hellams had to play a lot. I mean, Shane Lee, Christian Harris, Josh Jobe. We saw him play when Trayvon Diggs. I mean, this team was extremely young. Christian Barmore, but I'm just going on. I'm just going on. It was just a very, very extremely young team, and I think that we have to realize that it didn't go our way. We had 2 really, really hurtful losses, and that ended our season. We didn't make it to the playoffs for the first time and since the playoff era has started. But we have to realize that we are extremely young. Now, Bama ended it off beating Michigan, beating khaki pants to Jim Harbaugh in Michigan after being down by I think a couple points, 3 points at halftime. They came back, they won that game, they dominated Michigan in the second half, and they ended off the season in a really, really good note. Another season where Alabama finishes in the top 10 since 2008. That's 11 years now, 11 seasons that's happened. Another year now that Alabama once again goes over 11. They've only had 2 years where they didn't do that. So yes, for any other team, this would have been an amazing season. Matter of fact, they'll give their left arm out for an 11-win season. But for the Alabama, for the fans, we expect national championships. But going into next year, you look at the players that are returning back. You look at Najee Harris. You look at Devontae Smith coming back. Alex Leatherwood. 4 out of the 5 starters on the offensive line coming back. Deontay Brown, Alex Leatherwood, Leonard Dickerson, Evan Neal. Those guys are coming back. You look at Jalen Waddle, who was I don't know why in the hell he didn't get the ball more, but Jalen Waddle was arguably Alabama's best playmaker on the offensive side of the ball. And he's coming back. You look at what Mac Jones was able to do during the season when he got his opportunity. Mac Jones had a hell of a year as a backup quarterback. He stepped in. He played 2 really good games against top-notch competition in Auburn and Michigan. And then, most importantly, you bring back your entire coach. Besides one guy so far, you bring back your entire coaching staff. Sarkisian's back. Josh Lepoy, Brian Baker, Kyle Flood. These guys are back. So for the first time in 3-4 years, Bama's returning back their entirely 95% of their coaching staff. That's a positive as far as as far as this coaching staff and the players gelling together, the players understanding the concepts understanding just everything that the coaches are teaching them and bringing and just pretty much trying to deliver to these players. That's another year of that. That's phenomenal. We need to keep that up. We need to stop tearing down the wall and try to rebuild the wall, try to hold on to it. Because we keep tearing it down and it's not working. It doesn't always work. But then you look at the defensive side of the ball, you look at defensive line, that's going to be a strength. You look at the linebacking core, that was our biggest weakness. And then Shane Lee comes back, Christian Harris comes back, but most importantly, Dylan Moses he declares to come back. Not declare for the draft, but he decides to come back. Him and Josh McMillan. So the 2 guys that we're going to start inside linebacker are guys that are going to come back. Plus, you had Shane Lee and Christian Harris that had a full time of experience, that were all freshman All-Americans. Alabama is going to come back with a absolutely loaded football team next year. The schedule is going to be tough with USC, Georgia, A&M, LSU, Auburn. It's going to be tough. But you look at the coaching staff that's coming back. You look at the personnel that's coming back. The only weakness is arguably the secondary. But you love what you saw from Josh Jobe. You saw some good things out of Jordan Battle. I think the cornerback position with Jalen Armour Davis, and then most importantly Patrick Sand, which is arguably your best defensive player, is coming back. So that's really freaking amazing. This team is going to be absolutely loaded next year, and I cannot absolutely wait to see what Alabama does. Can they get back to that national championship caliber list? Can they get back to the playoffs? Can they get back and potentially win a national championship? That's something that we're going to find out. But as a Bama fan, you have got to be excited. You're bringing in another top 2 recruiting class. They might be number 1 in February from the rumors that I've been hearing. So most importantly, you got another top 3 recruiting class that's coming in. So the talent that's coming in next year, once again, is going to be amazing. It's going to be top tier. So if you're a Bama fan, you got to be excited for the future. But overall wise, man, I want September to come so badly, guys. I want September to come so badly because I can't wait. I have a good feeling that Bama's going to be back to where we belong, and that's on the top. So anyway, guys, I know this is a long video, but if you guys watched the entirety of the video, thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. But anyway, guys, if you guys liked the video, hit that like button, share the video, subscribe, hit notification bell. Really would appreciate it. Really helps out my channel. So anyway, guys, that's all I got for you guys today. I'm going to check you guys later. This is Jan716. Have a good night. Peace.